So what have you been up to this morning? Actually, I had a pretty good session of hanging weights off my dick. What? So, what happens if someone finds out you are doing things to increase the size of your D? Such as very strange things as hanging weights and using these pulley contraptions. What then? Now, why is this even important? Why am I even making a video about this? This is such a taboo and controversial subject that I think most people are going to keep it a secret. However, I guess it's not the norm. Now, some people will have very, very opposed views, and others, to my surprise, and it might come to your delight, that most people end up being really, really intrigued. It's kind of like intercourse. I'm not gonna say the actual sex term because YouTube is a little sensitive sometimes alongside all other social media platforms, but that's all right. So intercourse, it's a thing that everyone does, yet it's also taboo and controversial, and no one really wants to talk about it openly and out to the world. Now, I'm not necessarily saying you need to scream it from the mountaintops, I am someone who has intercourse, or I am someone who hangs weights off his dick. You don't need to do that. That's not what I'm saying. The reason I want to create this video is because this will affect you and your reasons, and more importantly, your state during this journey. And throughout the video, I'm going to explain why this is so imperative, because it may affect you so negatively that it actually impacts the way that you get results. Now, it sounds pretty drastic, but this is the truth, and I really want to make sure that you're able to work through this with me so that you not only stay safe, but you also feel good. You feel fulfilled while executing and actioning this particular goal. Now, how someone is going to find out that you're doing this, what seems to be a very strange and weird thing? Well, you might just tell someone, a friend, maybe not a colleague, someone that you're really close with. All right? Look at it the same way as mentioning that you're having intercourse. Like if it comes up, if it's not something, again, you have to scream from the mountaintops, but if it happened to come up, if it happened to be just a conversation that led that way, then yes, obviously make sure it's appropriate. All right, nothing inappropriate here. But if someone was to figure out that you were doing it, whether intentionally or maybe unintentionally. Now, unintentionally might be, say, a partner discovering your new devices that you've purchased from Total Man or another shop, maybe an extender, as a cheeky plug. Now, I've got a lot to say, especially when it comes to the partner side of things. You should never, ever, 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 ever keep it a secret, okay? Talking from experience, it is the worst way to go about things. And again, it is another thing that affects your emotional state that again will affect your results. I can promise you this, okay? I wanna save you so much time, money, effort, headaches, because I'm telling you now, your emotional state will affect your physiology, your biology, all the way to the local stress caused to the tissues, to your lad, that will affect your results in size. No matter what program or regime you try to action or stick to, your state is going to be one of the most important things to focus on. Okay, so your partner finds out or someone else finds out. Now, that's probably two camps worth different discussions. If someone else finds out, maybe you just tell them. What I find interesting about this is it really tells you a lot about a person, all right? Personally, I've actually, well, you might not be in the same boat as me, starting a brand and everything, putting out social media content. So a lot of people kind of figured out that I was doing it because I made a brand about it. And in doing so, so many of my friends ended up figuring it out and knowing what I was doing, not only on a professional level, but also a personal level. And so I had two friends in particular that just kind of fell off the face of the planet and stopped talking to me. One in particular, they said something along the lines of, I just don't want this to come up as a conversation if we were to, let's say, invite you to our kid's birthday party. I think it would be totally inappropriate. I mean, this is how strange or absurd the thought process could be in someone else that figures out that you're doing something that to them could be very strange. But at the same time, for that person in particular, I really hoped and wished they knew me better than that. It's like, just because I'm doing this thing, I'm not a psychopath. right? I'm not just going to randomly bring this up at your 3-year-old's birthday party because that's appropriate. No. But look, it honestly told me a lot about the friends I had. And I just want to mention that because you may even run into this. Now, I don't know how, but in case it does, I'm just giving you, I guess, a forewarning because I mean, it kind of was a surprise, but it also wasn't a surprise at the same time. Now, what was a surprise was when more people started figuring out other friends, people that I gained friendship with later down the track, and they ended up figuring out, mainly because I had the business, right? So that really helped. That just, broke the ice straight away. It's not like I just randomly brought it up in conversation. But what was surprising for me is the amount of interest, the amount of curiosity built because of this thing that I did as a professional thing and also personal. They obviously knew I was doing it on a personal level. The minority ended up being like a very, very small fraction ended up finding it weird and didn't really want to have conversations past, I don't know, absurd thinking that I mentioned earlier, but majority of people ended up just understanding, almost to the point where it's like, that's kind of cool. Like, I didn't know that that was a thing, but now I do. And like, you're doing it as a profession, that's pretty cool. Like, you're actually helping guys gain more confidence. A lot of people ended up not necessarily putting words in my mouth, but they followed the same thought process that I did all the way for me to even create a brand in the first place. Sometimes I think that people can be skewed, especially when it comes to adding size. They think it's so superficial, it's unnecessary. But look, your goals will be your goals. And I think that is the best frame of mind to have. And especially if it's not coming from, let's say, a place of ego or a place of lack. I speak about this in a lot more detail in another video, so make sure to check that one out. It is so important. Again, everything that also affects your state. Now, let's get on to the more important stuff. With that said, state. Why am I creating this video? Why do I keep mentioning state or your emotional state? Because if you keep this kind of thing a secret, essentially that insinuates that you are doing something that could be wrong. You're doing something that could give yourself a narrative, something like, I'm not worthy, I'm doing something strange, I'm doing something inappropriate, I'm doing something that maybe I actually shouldn't be doing because it's wrong, or fill in the blanks of any narrative that is a negative. Imagine what that's doing to your emotional state. Now, while you're in the privacy of your own home, your own time, doing it in secret, no one else knows about it except for you, you may still have those beliefs, narratives, and emotions going on in the background. Now, while you might be having fun, that's fine, all right? Even say masturbation. You don't need to tell everyone that you're masturbating, but everyone knows that everyone probably masturbates, or most people. I'd say almost everyone masturbates. We all know, okay? Now again, you don't have to scream it from the mountaintops, but at the same time, you should try to gain narratives. If you don't have any already, try to flip the switch. Try to have narratives that's a lot more healthy. I totally agree that we could be doing things for the wrong reason. And in such circumstances, okay, you might feel right to not feel either worthy or inappropriate, but that is why you can essentially apply the negative or the positive to this outcome. And I'm urging you, I'm recommending, suggesting strongly that you need to apply as positive of a narrative as you can so that you will always feel the emotions that are going to put you into a state that is the most beneficial for this outcome. Now, clearly I don't care because I started a brand, I'm the face of this company. I think what I'm doing is good for me. It's not hurting anyone else. If anything, I'm helping others. Now, maybe not necessarily on a personal level, other than, the person that I'm with, giving them the benefits of my added size. But for the videos, I'm helping other guys streamline the process and hopefully, cut through the noise, get rid of any of the wasted time, money, headaches, frustration that you could go through without this kind of knowledge and understanding. So imagine if your narrative was, I'm making me better, all right? I'm making my bedroom life better for me and the person that I'm with. Now, if that comes up in conversation quite organically and naturally, and it's something that someone wants to ask further about, and you're able to explain it in an appropriate and tasteful way, go for it. All right, if they're more curious, they're gonna ask questions, If they don't want to know, they don't want to know. I mean, they don't have to keep asking you about how you masturbate, for example, but it's a conversation that can be handled in a very tasteful way nonetheless. In saying that, we're very social mammals. All right, if someone gives you maybe a greasy or just a weird comment because of it, this in of itself can literally change your entire state. Because of the thing that one person said, when you come back to this goal, let's say you extend or hang or do whatever method for increasing size, that could be ringing in the back of your head. And it could put you into a particular state that will affect you on a systemic level. And from a systemic level, that could affect the tissues locally where stress is being caused. And in doing so, it can literally hinder your progress. All right, this is all done through the nervous system. This obviously affects everything from the hardness all the way to the stamina that you're able to utilize in the bedroom, but also the full capacity of size that you're able to utilize, not only in the bedroom, but the size that you're able to access while training the tissues to increase in size. So I hope that this video essentially allows you to maybe break the ice, just chill out a little bit more. All right, I'm giving you the permission to apply positive narratives to help you understand that if done for the right reasons, you are more than deserving to have positive narratives, to have positive emotions and states of being, to be able to execute and action this task for your life. Like ultimately it's your life, it's your bedroom health and performance, and it should really be between you and your partner that you're enjoying that particular part of your life with. So let's talk about states in particular, all right? Just to paint a little bit better of a picture, to give you context. Maybe hate. This might be a strong one. It could bleed from the reasons that you're doing it. Like you hate your size at the moment. That is really not good to operate from that state. Maybe you do keep it a secret, so again, subconsciously, on a deep level, you're thinking that you're doing something wrong. What state is that going to cause? Shame, guilt, disappointment in self? Think about these, but really think about what you're doing. You're doing something that you're doing in technically secret, behind closed doors. How many things do guys do behind closed doors where they don't necessarily get the credit straight up? You're doing something not only for yourself, you're working on yourself, but you're also doing something for someone else where they only see and feel the effort that you've put in at the end. So once you've actually achieved it and you're in the bedroom and they are getting to experience it and benefit from it. To me, that's kind of selfless. It seems like so many people glamorize guys having, a much larger D than most of the population. Even huge is also glamorized, probably more so by guys, but there are so many women out there that, joke about this kind of thing. Size is not the most important thing, but it matters nonetheless. If the receiving partner had a choice with the same you, but the only difference, without needing to even acknowledge all the effort and time that you need to put in to achieve the more size, if they had the choice between you at 6 inches long and whatever girth, but you with another 30% more size, as long as it's not too big, what do you think they would pick? I think most partners are probably going to give you the same answer. You don't need more size, size doesn't matter. It's everything else that comes before it that matters. Yes, of course, that everything else before, during, after, that matters. But what if you could apply it all, but still have more size? Now I'll talk about this in another video, but as long as it is not taking over your priorities in life, this priority, this size goal should be very, very low down the list. And as long as it is and it's not interfering, impeding and getting in the way of other goals in your life, especially even, let's say, spending time with your partner, working on your relationship, the very reason that you probably have this goal in the first place, do not put the cart before the horse. Don't neglect other things, because that is the most ironically stupid idea you can have. Trust me, again, speaking from personal experience, it is not the best way to go, especially when you know subconsciously, maybe even consciously, that you could be doing things better in other areas, and the reason you're not is because you've actually applied more time and effort to this goal. Now again, you'll know on a subconscious, maybe even conscious level, but because of that, you are literally digging yourself an emotional hole that will put you into a state that once again will impede on your results. All right, this is such a holistic approach. I didn't start this brand and called it Total Man because having a big D makes you a total man. You need to be a total man attacking and achieving every aspect of your life. That will give your body the keys, the access to increase your size, to even unlock the ability to add size in the first place. And it all really comes down to that state. Now, this is another reason why I think the partner conversation is almost a separate conversation altogether, because again, they are the reason that you're doing this in the first place, most likely, either a minority of the reason or maybe even majority, but it is so important to keep them in the loop. While you don't have to tell your friends, your family, you know, I'm hanging weights off my D, at least keep your partner in the loop. Just let them know about the goal and maybe not all the details, but at least some of what you're doing behind closed doors. Because if they were to just walk in on you one day, all right, you want to stay cool, calm, and collected, like you're doing the right thing, because you know through your narratives and emotions, you are doing the right thing. You're doing this for you and most likely them. And if they were to know, it not only feels good for you, it feels good for them. And once they start getting the benefits from my personal experience, they've almost been more motivated than me to do the thing to add more size. Almost like, is there anything I can do to, you know, help out the process? Now, you might not be thinking like that, especially when you've got narratives and emotions such as shame, guilt, disappointment in yourself. So please remember this, because this is a very slippery slope that you can go down so quick. And before you know it, you've spent 6 months keeping it a secret from, okay, maybe your friends and family, but the partner that you're supposed to be giving the benefits to, and then you also don't get results. Man, that is a hole and a half you do not want to dig yourself into. Like, that's the worst hole, right? You've been in a state that's impeded on the results, even if you've been executing and actioning all these methods and routines for increasing your size. And then your partner figures out that this whole time you've been trying to increase your size, but you haven't, they didn't get the benefits, and you've been lying and keeping things a secret. That is a bad hole, man. Don't do it, please. You're actually better off telling them from the start, them finding it weird, being in a state at least that is truthful and honest. If they completely find it so strange that it almost affects your relationship, maybe rethink about this journey. But if they're able to understand at even the smallest level, you're able to unlock that state that will help the results, and then they get the benefits, that's a good time. You start getting benefits, and then they start actually associating, okay, I understand why you're doing it now. This actually feels really good. All right, that is a good place to be. So, long story long, really wasn't a long story short, was it? You really want to stay as true and as honest and as transparent. Again, also appropriate, right? Again, you don't need to scream this from the mountaintop. I clearly don't have shame about this thing because I've put myself on the internet, all right? All the way to, unfortunately, having the YouTube channel that I had prior to this one, taken down, because I probably pushed the envelope a little too far with the topics and the content, which is why I'm really trying to keep things as tame as possible. So it's definitely not me being shameful or feeling guilty. It's really just trying to keep the social media accounts, including YouTube, alive. So I really hope that this helps as many people as possible, hopefully get through a thought process that you could be struggling with. Like I said, this emotional state will impede or provide the access to the results that you want. It is that important. And I hope with this video, you're able to maybe even reapply new narratives to have those new emotions to gain the results that you're after. This is an extremely rare, if not a non-existent conversation that majority, almost all guys will ever have during their life and this process. So this is why I wanted to do this video, just to help you understand that you're not alone. It's not weird of you to think that, yes, maybe I do need to keep this a secret, and maybe I feel shame and guilty about it. So like, what do? Do I keep doing it? So I hope this helps you through the thinking process and how I think that you should be thinking about it. For more videos like this one, check out totalmanperformance.com. Not only a video library you have free access to, you've also got a PE video course that's 4 weeks. If you didn't even speed it up, 30 minutes a day. It is a condensed learning of over 15 years of my experience trying to add size. No, it doesn't take that long. Hopefully for you guys, it's going to take 12 to 24 months with a consistent routine, as long as you apply all the principles and learnings and understandings inside the video course. That is also completely free at totalmanperformance.com for all devices. This isn't me trying to push you to devices. If you take what you've learned in this video and go buy something else, that's also totally fine. But all devices with money back guarantees, you can go to totalmanshop.com. As always guys, be the man you know you can be. I'll see you in the next video.